Gao!
Howdy y'all, Lad here. What's good? Ever since we moved to Side Celestia, travelers are getting released like hotcakes every week. Last week we had Agnea and Temenos. Now for this week, Octopath 2's very best girl, Ochette. She will be released tomorrow on January 30th, and not only that, but Sazantos and Signa as well. But I'll go over these two at the end of the video. Anyways, to Ochette, she's a hunter of the Opulence faction, hailing from, again, the Memoirs of Celestia. As best girl, she has many abilities that allow you to hit different attack types, ranging from polearm, axe, wind, lightning, and light. Sadly, she doesn't do too well hitting those weaknesses other than bow. She did also get buffed compared to the JP side, so I'll be mentioning those as well. But is that enough for her to be a good character? Let's go ahead and find out. Checking out her VA, Hirano, Aya, and boy, she's a very pretty individual. Anyways, Kanata from Lucky Star, Arohi, Lucy from Fairy Tail, and Misa from Death Note, all the anime characters that I know about. This is her first role in the Octopath series. If you played her using the JP dub, I'm sure all of us are a big fan of her Battle Warriors. Anyways, let's go ahead and move over to her notable damaging skills. Her first ability is a one-hit single target bow damage attack, potency 90. With the Akala Keeper equipped, she gains an additional 2-hit single target sword that also hits polearm and axe weaknesses. And if Mahima is equipped, she also deals a 2-hit single target lightning that also hits wind and light. Her second ability is called the Arc Shot. The SP cost is 60, it's a 3-hit single target bow damage attack, potency of 85, and it lowers shield points regardless, and whatever is highlighted in blue is her global buffs. She also gets a bow resist down for 15% for 2 turns. The last notable damaging skill is an SP cost of 82, and it's a 6-hit random target bow damage attack, potency 40. Now taking a look at her EX skill, she can only use this if there's no enemies broken and only 4 times per battle. She goes first and then deals a 4-hit AoE bow damage attack, potency 45. Her lane ability, this has been buffed to turn 1 or after, and she can reuse this after 4 turns. She activates Animal Instincts, and you can select one of the 3 abilities. First one is Beastly Claw. It's a 1-hit AoE bow damage attack, potency 240, and a max boost. This will always crit, and again remember that whatever is highlighted in blue are the global buffs. Her next ability is Beastly Howl. It's an AoE lower physical and elemental defense, and also reduces shield point by 1. In a max BP, she gives a self damage limit up by 40,000 for 2 turns. And then lastly, Beast Tusk. It's a 1-hit single target bow damage attack, potency 290, and a max boost will always crit. Looking at her ultimate, at level 1, she does a 5-hit AoE bow damage attack that also hits lightning weaknesses. Of course, physical bow damage calculation, and the potency is at 65 level 1 and 75 at level 10. Then for her notable support skills, her first ability is Leg Hold Trap. It's a SP cost of 45, and it delays a single target to be at the last in the turn order for 2 to 5 turns. Her second ability is her TP skill. It's a 40 SP cost, and she gives the front row physical attack and crit up for 15% for 2 to 5 turns based on the boost level. And then her third ability, Indomitable Beast. It's an SP cost of 120. It's a self-attack and speed up for 15% and 1 BP recovery for 3 to 6 turns, and she's able to also dodge physical attacks for 1 to 4 times depending on the boost level. Now for her passive, Salt to Wound, she gives herself double cast when breaking an enemy for 2 turns, and at 6 stars, this passive also lowers the enemy bull resist by 15%. Her second passive is the Deadly Hunter. She gives herself a physical attack and crit up damage up by 15%, and also at 80% potency up when she double casts her ability. Then she has a 10% in lightning resistance and 20 in wind. Taking a look at her stats, her attack and speed are on the higher end, with her attack increasing from 457 to 522 and speed from 410 to 460. Her kit revolves around being able to go first, so speed is very important for her. Her HP isn't the highest at 2862 at level 100. They do get slightly better at level 120, but she won't be taking damage well, so make sure to watch out for that. So the next question, should you pull? Ochette is in the same boat as Particio. She is definitely the best hunter as of right now, but she'll get outclassed soon. Her buffs are nice, but they're more like sprinkles on top. Her double cast passive only lasts 2 turns, and she also becomes the designated enemy breaker. That means you'll have to start equipping her with accessories to give enemy debuffs upon breaks. This also means that she needs to be faster than everyone else, especially thieves. Her TP skill does help her out, as it allows her to go first and then do a 4-hit AoE bow attack, but that only has 4 usages per battle. Her 6-hit random target bow attack is the highest number of bow attacks that we've seen that is guaranteed. So moving forward, she'll be a great breaker when it comes to enemies that are weak to bows. Even more interesting than that is her leg hold trap support ability. It's a new concept for us in the global side. It delays an enemy's turn to the very last. That is actually quite helpful when up against an enemy that outspeeds our entire team. But you have to take note that this can also be a double-edged sword, as if you're using someone like ODO, this is not an ability that you want to be using, as you're going to be giving yourself an easy wipe. Her very last global buff was given to her A4 accessory. It's a 60 physical attack increase, 40 crit, and 40 SP, which allow the user to also lower bow resist down by 15% once breaking an enemy. Before the buff, it used to only give a physical attack up by 15% when breaking an enemy, but now it also gives a self bow damage up of 15% as well. Recall that these debuffs are known as the passive or equipment debuffs, so they stack of active skills. And these passive debuffs are more on the sporadic side when you're trying to inflict debuffs. Now there's two small problems that I don't like about her. Firstly is her skill with Akala or Mahina. And as a side note, you'll be getting both if you get Ochette as a traveler, but once you start chapter 2 outside Celestia, you can only choose one of the two. Now the first problem has to do with her battle skill with either Akala or Mahina equipped. With Akala, she gains 2 additional hits to Pole Armor Axe, and Mahina she gains additional 2 hits to both Wind and Light. This ability is rather useless. If you're a new player, then this actually isn't too bad. But to those who've been playing COTC for a hot second, this ability is rather useless. You're better off just using her for her bow attacks. Next is her ultimate. It's only a 5-hit AoE bow attack that also hits lightning. At this point in time, this is no better than a normal skill, so make sure you leave at ultimate level 9 you pull for her. Next, let's Gar over longevity. She's definitely good, but her problem is that she's limited in only bow attacks. Herminia, who was released a while back and now has got her buffs from the CN version, will definitely give Ochette a run for her money. And not only that, but Uni as well, once she gets her 6-star awakening. As remember that Uni is also able to double cast if the enemy has more than 16 status effect icons inflicted. Anyways, let's go ahead and finish up. Character design 4.5 out of 5. I still recall thinking she was a cat when I got introduced to her as a character. She was an adorable traveler from the beginning all the way to the end. And fun fact, she's the only character in the Octopath series, not including COTC, that's not human. In COTC, we have the androids, 2B, A2, 9S, and then of course her. Her VA, Hirano Aya. I was actually quite tempted to switch to JP audio just for her character alone, for her battle sounds in Octopath Traveler 2. Abilities, 3.5 out of 5. She could have gotten better abilities, but her kit is rather basic, as the only interesting thing about her is her leg hold trap, which makes the enemy go last in the turn order. Longevity, 3.5 out of 5. In a bow-only composition, she does great. And that's only because there's not a lot of good 5-star hunters out there when compared to other classes such as warriors or thieves. Level buff, 5 out of 5. We got the same buffs as the other versions, and some buffs are better than nothing. Her most notable buff is her passive, Salt of Wound, which also now gives the enemy a bow resist down by 15% when breaking them. For whales, her A4 accessory with the added 15% bow damage up is also great to have. Time limited, 0 out of 5. Again, she's from the Memoirs of Celestia, and they're coming out quick. Overall impression, 3.5 out of 5. Adorable. For players just starting COTC, she's great to have. And for others who've been with this game for a while, she's good, but again, nothing to scream over about. In terms of bow damage and breaking, she's only inches better than Herminia, so you'll have to see for yourself if she's worth pulling if you already have Herminia. Okay, well that was it for Ochette. I'll be doing a few posts for her. I did like her story in Octopath Traveler 2, and sadly I never capitalized her full potential, as I didn't bother to catch monsters for her. Now to those who've been following the news, both Sazantos and Signa will also be getting released alongside Ochette in their own respective banner. Us in the global side, before we transferred, have already encountered Signa and Sazantos, and it low-key is unfortunate that they're releasing multiple good travelers all at once to the players in other regions. At this point in time, as we're already inside Celestia, you are free to play and only want the strongest characters. I would skip both Ochette and Sazantos. Signa is the traveler you want to pull for if you don't have her, as when comparing the longevity and usefulness of the three, she by far has the most usages, even still today in the JP side. Check out this video for Signa on the top left and Sazantos on the top right. Signa is difficult to use if you are free to play, as her debuffing capabilities aren't that easy to use compared to someone like EX Haunted. But as you progress further into the game and obtain more accessories or characters that can inflict more status debuffs, she will only be getting better. Then Sazantos, on the other hand, I would just wait for the next upcoming warrior, as right now he's good, but he will easily get outclassed in the future. Okay, well that was it for Ochette. Let me know if you'd be pulling for her. I'll catch you next time. Take care of yourself. Flat out.